Icy buttons.
Welcome to Bourbon and Bachelor Podcast, Season 6, Episode 28. I'm Dopey Dog, Hound Dog, and Slow Ride.
Man, who are we missing tonight?
We're missing Rodinator.
Oh, yeah, Rodinator. He's out gallivanting the world as he generally does.
World traveler, because he is the captain. He is them, those people.
Yeah, he is those
He's got
people.
he's got the retired captain money.
Yep.
I tell you, it's going to be not the same with the 100 tonight, man. When you guys be all riled up and...
Let's all take turns ranting about something, don't we? I'll tell you what, them sons of bitches, them fucking fuckers.
No, not Rod. No, not the Rodinator.
Well, the downside, too, is, man, y'all's faces are so much bigger now, so I got to look at them big old mugs staring back at me.
Yeah, it happens.
You'll have
all right,
that.
man. What are we drinking?
Yep. I'll go first. Drinking some good old Horse Soldier, one of my favorites.
That's some good stuff.
I love this
Pricey
stuff, man.
It's good.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about that Hound Dog, because I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, there's three different offerings. There's the Signature, Reserve, and I can't think of the other one. Small batch, I think. And I'm sorry, the Signature is a small batch, and they're 87 proof, 95 proof, and 110-ish proof, I think. And
10-ish.
this one,
110-ish.
Yeah.
10-ish.
This particular one here is 95 proof. It's a Horse Soldier bourbon. Is really good and smooth. It's a little pricey, like Slow Ride said. Here in North Carolina, this is the middle of the road one, and it's about $75, $76 a bottle. But it's worth it. It's really good. I like it.
Good stuff. And that's, I guess, comes in a fifth. I ain't seen anything other but a fifth, have you?
No, I haven't either.
Well, Double D, what you got on tap?
Oh, benchmark.
Yeah, is that a fifth bottle or is that a liter? Looks like a liter.
That's a liter, I believe, but it was only $20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not bad at all, man.
It's not bad at all. I mean, for the money, it's hard to beat for the money. I mean,
yeah.
There's ones I like better, but for $20 for that much.
Well, I tell you, I like when I want to do a mixer or something. That's a good, excellent mixer. I mean, you drink it straight off the cuff like you do too, man. I think we rated. I think it passed the Daily Drinker, didn't it, Hound Dog?
Yeah,
I think so.
it did.
It was like a 7.5, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere along in there.
Yeah, I would do it. I would consider it a Daily Drinker for sure.
Well, W, have you tried the different varieties of benchmark that they have?
No, that's the only one I've seen where I go get it. That's the only kind I've seen. What different kinds do they have?
Oh man, there's like five different ones.
Yeah.
There's a top floor, small batch, a barrel proof. I can't think what the other ones are. So, do you remember what they are?
I can't off the cuff either.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all really good.
Yeah.
And they're all relatively inexpensive.
Single barrel, one of them.
Single barrel, yeah.
I'm sorry it's not Knobs Creek, but it'll do.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit of Knobs Creek's in this thing right here. This is the original Buzz One Infinity bottle from the one we actually had the studio. Everybody sat down and drank from.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We started that in 12/28 of 2020.
So where did the idea of an infinity bottle come from? I know y'all started doing it, but evidently it's not just us. I mean, I never heard of it until.
Yeah, I've just seen it on like social media and stuff like that, and I always thought, what the hell's an infinity bottle? Then I looked into it and found out you put a little bit of this, a little bit of that in it, and keep it and drink it.
Yeah, every bottle that I open that's not flavored, I don't put any flavored stuff in it. This actual whiskey or straight bourbon. What
Rufus says hey to
that?
everybody. That's Rufus, my dog. I guess my wife just got home.
I think he's glad to see her.
I think so.
Yeah, but I put an ounce and a half of everything that bottle I have. When I open it up, goes in this right here that I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Like I say, other than flavored stuff, I don't put any flavored in it at all.
Yeah.
And like Hound Dogs, it generally stays around 100, 107 proof.
Yep. Do you put rye in it?
Yeah. What if it's not a flavored
Okay.
whiskey? Yeah, it goes in there.
Yeah, I've heard of people just having just a straight bourbon infinity bottle. I've heard of people having a rye only infinity bottle. They never mix them, but hell, I put a little bit of everything in mine.
Yeah, that's what I do
Straight
too.
bourbon.
Mine so far has been strictly bourbon. So far.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't like rye really much, so no more than I drink rye, I'd never be able to get an infinity bottle start on that.
What you got? Oh. Sorry, my wife just walked in. She's been out to eat with her girlfriends tonight.
Well, you keep it tight. At least getting her home at this time of the night.
Yeah.
That's right, woman. Get home early.
See, you're lucky, Steve. She can't hear you.
Well, it's like we said, who knows? Everybody knows Steve's a little shit. Period. So she's just
True.
It's Steve. It's slow.
Yep.
It's slow. We can't.
All right, man. So what have we got to talk about tonight?
I want to revisit remember the last podcast we talked about McCall Police Department resigning.
Yeah,
And,
give a little background for that for the listeners that didn't listen to that episode.
If you didn't listen to the episode, well, you're just going to have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, what are
pretty
they
much
doing
all
now
there
listening
to
to our
it.
episodes?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of sound like me. But anyway,
You sound like the Rodinator.
he'll probably show up, at some point. But anyway, McCall, South Carolina, a little small town just outside of Darlington, South Carolina, where the big racetrack is. About a month or so ago, their entire police department quit. They just went to the, I guess the mayor or the town council or whatever, and said, you know what, we're done. They didn't like the way they were being treated by council members. They were being aggressively treated bad.
Now, it's a small department. What, 5 officers, including the chief?
I think it was the chief plus 4 officers that quit, which wiped out the department. But now, that same town, it appears that the mayor of that town just maybe a few days after the police department quit, the mayor of that town got killed in a pursuit. Now
the actual mayor, or is he?
I think, well, he may have been retired.
I can't remember his
It
former.
says McCall Mayor. McCall Mayor
All right, good
was
deal.
killed Tuesday. He got hit head on by a truck, and from what I can understand on here, is that he was being pursued by a Marlboro County deputy. And pursuit was not related to any laws being broken. Explain.
Well, fleeing
explain
from
that
the
to
officer
me.
itself is a violation of law.
All he had to do is have a minor traffic violation and light him up, and he doesn't stop. There you go. It's
Okay, so
they just all what they're saying is he just turns his blue lights on and starts chasing for no reason. That's what
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it don't make any
Without-
sense. Like I
But
said,
if he
just the
fails
act
to
of fleeing
stop-
is a violation. So
Exactly. But anyway,
Makes sense.
this mayor got killed in a head-on crash by the same, in the same town.
now
or
the
whatever
chief,
that he
the
was,
chief that resigned wasn't driving that truck, was he?
I don't know.
It's
It's a good question.
He might have wished he
That
was.
might be something Sled
Yeah.
needs a handle.
Well, we need to look into that a little bit.
But I thought that was interesting that just a
little
week
shaky.
later that he was killed. But everybody, I've seen the interviews for people on the news about this guy, and everybody said he's a good guy. I liked him. He's nice and friendly, and
The mayor.
the mayor, yeah.
Yeah, but whenever you ever
You don't
said,
want to
even,
talk to the police.
yeah, even these scumbags that we call it a good killing. You have a bad guy kills another bad guy. You
Yeah.
got 2 bad. One goes to jail, one's dead. That's a good killing. So we just call it in Gastonia.
Yeah.
But the next day you see him on there. Oh, he's the greatest guy in the world. Well, he had
true.
like 12 kids from 12 mamas, never paid child support, never worked a day of his life, and robbed like 3 banks, and he's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah,
Nobody ever gets
I remember
pursued.
when I was in probation parole for a while, and I was going back on the person that got charged, convicted, instead of going to prison, they suspended the sentence, put it on hold, and they had to spend so many months, years seeing probation officer. It was usually a longer amount of time, but you weren't actually incarcerated. So we're going back to Superior Court. The guy had been on there for drug charges. specifically cocaine. And he's in front of there, and his mind.
Now, why he's on probation?
Why is it? Well, he's going back because he had drug violations and wasn't paying his money, so I took him back before the judge to revoke the probationary status and make him activate his time. So then he would actually have to do the year prison sentence. And I have to admit, the judge was spot on. He was an old mountain judge from North Carolina. He was spot on. This lady stands up and she says, and I had like 6 positive drug tests, money violations, a new crime, all this kind of stuff. So this little lady was a public defender. And she's begging for him and says, he played football in high school. He's got kids. He's working, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, just, you would think he is the man. I mean,
right.
And she's using stuff like, we played football in high school. Well, that was 10 years ago, lady.
Al Bundy, man. Al Bundy wrote that through the whole episode.
Yeah. She doesn't only ask that the violations be dismissed. She asked for him to be taken off probation. And,
well, there you go.
And so the old mountain judge, he looked at her, and he had actually went to VMI, Virginia Military Institute. That's where he went. I talked to him a couple times. Couldn't remember.
And who's this? The judge or the bad guy?
The judge.
All right.
And this was back in like '96. So this judge tells the lady, the public defender, said, "Ma'am, Miss public defender, whatever you call him, attorney, whatever, matter, whatever. I would like for you to turn around to the court and apologize for asking such a ridiculous question."
Oh, really?
It made her. She did that. And he said, "A probation vote since activated, he's going to prison." But he told that specifically. He said, "Turn around and apologize to the court for asking such a ridiculous question of this court." And she had to do it.
Good for him.
She's sorry.
That's funny.
But he's going to prison.
Yeah,
One
good
of
for
his
him.
touchdowns in high school.
You know what? You never know what a judge is going to say in court, man. Sometimes they're pretty daggone funny and pretty fun and pretty entertaining. You think like, how in the hell, what in the hell was he thinking or she thinking or whatever? But that's pretty good. 'Cause I was in court where I'm going at with this a long time ago, probably around that same time period, probably a little bit before that, maybe in the 80s, early 90s or 80s, late 80s. But there was a judge in Gaston County, been on the bench for 20 years probably, if not longer, Judge Gaston. I don't know if still you might remember him.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
But anyway.
A lot of times you wonder if he's up there sleeping.
Well,
he's so old.
I'll tell you what, he was old and he was a good guy. He's a fair guy. And I was up there on a drug charge. Not me. I was a charging officer. I wasn't the one being charged. And so we sat there throughout the whole entire case. Judge Gaston sitting up on the bench. And if you can imagine, the audience is like out this way from where I'm at. Judge Gaston sitting like this on the bench 90% of the time, just looking off into space. And he was sitting there after the closing arguments, and it was a judge trial. It wasn't a jury trial.
Bench trial.
Bench trial, that's what it is. And so after the attorneys did the arguments, old Judge Gaston's sitting there like this. He goes, a very long pause. I'm not going to do it quite as long, but he goes, Madam Clerk, give the defendant whatever it is we give for stuff like this, and let's move on.
Yeah,
like,
Judge
holy
Gaston.
Crap. But he did. He convicted him and gave him whatever it was that they gave him at the time.
Welcome to the Walmart courtroom.
Hey, I'm going off the rails here for a second. What do you guys always think about court, man? Because, it's attorneys. The judge is attorney. The attorneys run the thing. Like I say, everybody is in cahoots. And all the local judges come from the local attorneys. And they've all worked together forever.
And a lot of your attorneys are just chomping at a bit to become a judge. They don't want to appease the judge that's already there. It's a good old boy politics. I mean,
it is.
Well, there's another thing too. It'd be aggravating because a lot of times, if you get let's say somebody for DWI, then the attorney wants to wait. They get that certain judge. You keep putting it off, trying to get that certain judge. They know they're going to get favorable, something favored toward them because they're the buddies or they would want
not show up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do as a defendant, in my opinion, in district court is defend yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because, it's good for us because the likelihood of you getting a conviction is pretty damn high.
Oh, yeah. They don't know to object, or you can sit there and say about anything you want to say.
Yeah. And, you can, because if like you just said, the judge is a lawyer, the prosecutor is a lawyer, that if, everybody's buddies and been buddies for a while. And if you go up there and say, I got this myself, I'm going to fry this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. In my 30 years of law enforcement experience, it never happened.
Yeah, there's good judges, bad judges.
Tell you what. Have y'all ever had to go to jury duty? Speaking of courts, I'm a little off topic, but have y'all ever had to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a long story. I actually told on a prior podcast about that, but yeah, I went once.
Yeah.
How'd you? How far along did y'all get?
Well, Hound Dog, can I bore you with this story one more time?
Yeah, because I'm going to bore you with the same story, too.
Well, David, do you have something you're going to? You want to tell your story first, and then we'll tell that one?
Yeah. So I tell myself, I get called for jury duty in Cleveland County, in Shelby.
That's North Carolina.
I go in there, North Carolina, and I go in there, and they're like, you're not going to get called to put in the 12. You just sit right here, okay? I'm like, okay. So we go in there, within 30 minutes, they're calling me up. And they're asking me what I do and all these sort of things. And I tell them, police officer, canine officer, so on and so on. And the DA looked at me and said, do I know you? Yeah, I used to work for the sheriff's department here. He said, he comes up, he starts interviewing me. He says, well, this is a break-in case and of a business. If we show you pictures of the police dog, the evidence where a canine bit the suspect, is that going to bother you? I'm like, no. And he's like, the DA's like, keep him. The defender starts. He's like, no.
Yeah.
I go back, and we go back to a room, and I have to come back the next day. And I'm like, well, I've already got pulled up. Well, you won't get back up there again. Second day.
Same thing.
I get called up, and they're like, and
same trial. It's the same trial.
Different trial. Trial. So I get called for nothing. This is a dope trial. And the dang DA's like asking me all these questions. Yeah, I remember you. I'm like, thanks, appreciate it. And he's like, yeah, we want him. This time, the defendant was representing himself. He starts asking questions, and he's like, no. I'm like, why'd you even bother? So I was on the verge of getting on 2 trials in 1 day, 2 days.
All right, set the stage. Set the stage now. You get some. Is somebody hitting a bell or something?
Yeah, that's my dog. He's over here and he's stuck in a dog bowl. Let me get him out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, explain that story too. Now, tell me if I'm right, W. It's you get summoned for jury duty. You go up there if you get called to the court. They ask for 12 jurors, 1 alternate, and each side, the defendant and the state side, both can have dismiss 6 without cause. I just don't like him. I don't like color his hair. Let him go. Get him out of here. Right. After that, they have to have the judge to either disqualify him or keep him on the bench. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. It's the only time I've ever had to come up here, and so when and then they start. They're at the first case. The DA's asking me, "Oh, I know you. So what do you do now?" I'm a canine officer in Gastonia Police Department. And he asked about the pictures. Well, if there's any evidence of a dog bite, is it going to bother you? No. And you can see the expression on the defendant's face is like, "Oh shit, I don't want him."
Yeah.
So it was funny because I sat up there for 2 days.
That's cool.
Go through your story, Hound Dog.
Yeah, I got called. It's actually set in a jury box, and they ask you, say, do you know the defendant? No. Do you know anybody else any of the court officials? And I was like, I do. Well, which ones do you know? This is a brand new attorney. Which ones do you know? I looked around and said, everybody in here except for you. He said, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I said, I know His Honor, the judge. I know the bailiff. I know the court stenographer. I No, the clerk.
So he didn't know you was a cop.
No. They said, well, how do you know these
Not
people?
at this
I said, well,
point, anyway.
Yeah. I said, well, how do you know these people? I said, well, I'm a police officer here in Gastonia. He said, oh, I will dismiss juror number whatever I was
Yeah.
without cause. But it was funny. You should have seen his face when I told him I knew everybody in there but him.
Yeah, it's funny. Not quite as funny as mine.
How did I know it was going to be something
Well,
crazy?
I got summoned to jury duty. The same week, I've got a DWI case going to Superior Court. So I go to the coordinator, Art Bernardino, what was his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something like that. But I go to him and say, Art, said, listen, I'm subpoenaed for a DWI case, Superior Court, the same week that you got me here for grand jury. I'm not grand jury, but jury duty. Can you just put me off another day, another week? He says, no. He says, police officers know better than anybody else. They can go to jury duty. So I'm not trying to get out of jury duty. I'm just trying to get you to put it another time because I've got a case in Superior Court the same week. He said, well, I can't help you. I said, well, I'm going to show up in uniform. He says, no, you won't. I said, yeah, I got that case, and if I get the case, I got to go to the court on. I need to be in uniform when I go. He says, no, you can't. And I show him a little sheet of paper that says, you can't wear shorts, can't wear flip-flops. Says, doesn't say anything about a police officer uniform. So I show up that Monday morning in jury pool wearing my police uniform. And just like Dobie, we got called in to first thing to a trial. We got called up into the jury box. Now, Judge Patty, at the time was the what do you call the head judge? What is it?
Yeah.
David Phillips is that now in Gaston County, but he was over all the judges.
Yeah.
He kind of leans over and looks at me. He says, "What is it?"
Yeah, Chief Judge.
Yeah, Chief Judge. He leans over at me and goes, Officer Covered, you working today? I told him, I said, no, sir. I said, I try to explain it to him. He says, okay. He says, I'll tell you what, you go on back to the jury box. Not jury box, to the jury pool. The little room where they house all the jurors. Lady comes back in there a little while later, and she says, okay, we need everybody else to go to this trial. She says, oh, Officer Covered, you will just have a seat. Judge Patty says, if I bring you another courtroom wearing that uniform, he's going to hold us both in contempt of court. And, by the way, at the end of the day, he wants to see you in his chambers.
Oh, shit.
And this is before lunch, and I've got to sweat all the way to 5 o'clock.
One thing, Slow. How much of this do you believe, Hound Dog?
Well, it's all true.
This is about the third or fourth time I've heard it.
Yeah, it's all true.
Every bit of it.
So I'm sweating this the whole day.
This would happen to Slow.
Yeah, I'm sweating this to the end of the day. And I go to his outside his office. He's on the phone, and I'm sitting outside there, and he's just kind of like having a little leisure conversation. That's what he's doing. He's sweating me. Mm-hmm. He hangs up. Says, Officer Carver, come on in. He says, tell me again what's going on here. So I told him. He says, yeah, Art Bernardino or something like his name. He says, oh, Art's kind of hard to deal with, isn't he? I said, yes, sir, he is. He says, well, I tell you what, I'm going to excuse you from jury duty this week, but don't ever do that again. I said, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And out the door I went.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame it at all.
Life of a cop.
Yep.
All right. Since the Rodinator's not here, I'm going to bring it up. You guys we talked about in the pre-podcast meeting.
All right. Go ahead.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it about the Biden Hunter thing.
Oh, man. So I guess everybody's heard by now that Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter, from all known and, what, Slow?
Unknown
crimes that may have been committed between the years of 2014 and 2024. 10-year spread.
So he could actually have killed someone in 2016, and there's nothing nobody can do about it.
Not a damn thing. So what's y'all's thoughts on this? The president.
Mine's
I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can pardon somebody for something they ever the unknown.
Yeah, I don't think that either. But also too, if he gets indicted, Sleepy Joe gets indicted after he's no longer president for all this stuff that's happened with him and his son, he can still be indicted for it, but the son can't. What if the son can be impelled to testify against his dad?
Be impaled, like stuck with something?
No, like he has to tattoo.
Compelled. Does that say impaled?
Oh, you said impaled. I was like, damn, they going to put him on a pike or something?
Oh, you never know.
Huh. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think what he's doing is, he's getting rid of his co-conspirators. What old Joe's doing, but now looking through we're all looking through other eyes as parents. If you had the opportunity to do that, to get your child out of trouble and not go to prison, would you not do it?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I don't think you should, but also, if he's got enough power to pardon him, he's got enough power to reduce his sentence if he goes to court.
I don't think it works that way. He can do it like a pardon or not, or
Yeah.
and a conditional pardon he can do.
Yeah, and this is not a conditional pardon.
No, it's full blanket coverage for anything he's done. Period.
Did y'all read the pardon that he did? You can pull it up online and read it.
I have not.
Man, it's pretty good. I mean, he made sure that all his bases were covered.
Or somebody made sure for him.
Or yeah, true, because he's not smart enough to do it himself. I don't think.
Well, I hate the Rodinator's not here to
weigh in.
Enlighten us.
Yeah, because that went pretty unchallenged there, guys. We're all across the board.
Yeah. But what about this? And it said in the pardon, or in his statement before the pardon, that he feels like his son was unjustly targeted because he is his son. And I think that's what it was.
All politically based.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. What about Trump? Trump's damn trials and stuff. When he got charged and stuff.
So you think he should pardon Trump?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Trump gets when he becomes acting president, can he pardon himself?
Man, I don't know. Can you?
Well, just better things now has been dismissed or done away with because
I think it'd be up to like the House. Because that's kind of where the checks and balances fall.
Huh.
Well, Biden can pardon, his son and not go before any of the House or Congress or anything.
Yeah.
That's why we're cops and not political people.
True.
Except for Rod.
Although we had to deal with in 30 years the local politics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what throws back to the same thing we started talking about at first. That small town, it had to be a small town to have 5 officers, one being a chief.
Right.
I think the smaller the town, the more political
politics.
crap you got to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows everybody, and everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody wants to be the chief.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But could you imagine going back into that particular town as the new chief? What all the hurdles you'd have to jump over? There's no way that I would do that.
Yeah.
No way.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, a lot of people just like to get to do things like that to be chief. We have a lot of small towns in Gaston County where the chief doesn't make as much as a regular officer for the city of Gastonia.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's chief.
And I've seen officers who come through the ranks. That's their goal is this is sad, but their goal is not to be the police. Their goal is to be a chief.
Yeah.
And that's their goal. And if you want that, that's fine. But I mean, I can't really. I'm just not wired that way.
And I'm sure that there's people working right now, and the department that we all retired from, and other surrounding departments that have that same mindset.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Then there's no doubt in my mind.
What your mindset of wanting to be chief?
Well, yeah, skip over anything that just pretty much screw over anybody they can to get to the next bump to the next level, whether it's sergeant, lieutenant, captain, or whatever. They'll screw the shit out of you to get to that next level.
What is it Rod said that time that he was told when he first got hired to be careful in the office?
Oh yeah, you're exactly right.
And I won't mention his name because he's retired, but y'all know him. He was canine officer for a while, then in street crimes for a while, and he had some
there in Gastonia.
In Gastonia. So I think he was there when you were over it. I'm not sure, but anyway, he ended up going to Vice. And y'all probably know what I'm talking about. But
Okay.
he was getting refitted for a vest. He's like, I really don't need it. I have 6 months left. No, you got to have one. You got to have one.
6 months
He
left
said
of what?
He only had 6 months left before he could retire. Maybe
All right.
6 months. It wasn't long, 8 months. But you had like 8 months left to retire. So and he was in Vice, so he really wasn't worried about like, hey, you don't have to spend money on a brand new vest for me. $600-700 for a ballistic vest. And they said, no, we're going to order you one. We're going to make sure you have one. He said, and they were describing it. It has in the front panel, it has the
Trauma plate.
The what?
Trauma plate.
Yeah, the trauma plate, which is an extra piece inside that covers your vitals that has a higher protection level. So he says, he looks at it, and I'm standing next beside him, and you know him. He's very dry-witted. Can I get one of those for the back when I'm walking around the station?
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Like, you're correct.
Yep.
Yeah, politics, man, especially in house. The smaller the department. Yeah, one time, it might be for you time you came on, David. One time we were at full song, 198 officers. And then life was really good to the department. Then textiles started going away, and they started downsizing a little bit. But yeah, even at that, with 200 officers, which is a precinct where Rods came from, from Charlotte. They had like 2,300 officers, I think.
Or more than that now, probably.
Oh yeah,
I
this
think
politics
they're
was
at
terrible
like
then.
160 now. When they're
Do what?
mandated for like 178 Gastonia.
Oh,
That's
really?
what
How much?
Something like that. I know they got really, really low. I think it's picking back up some, but they're mandated for like 178, 177, and they were down to like 140.
Yeah, talking to some of the guys, man, they was working mandatory overtime. You talking about wanting to make some
Mandatory
bucks? You can make big bucks, but
Street
good
crime
God.
was busted up. They had detectives ride taking calls. It's bad.
What they offered, like, was it $15,000 sign-on bonus at one point?
16.5, I think it is, or was. Yeah.
They were starting them out once you got out of school. If you had a 4-year degree, 57.
Wow.
Now they're talking about looking at a pay study and maybe increasing it.
Well, good deal. Yeah, they should make all the money they possibly make.
Yeah, I agree.
Not everybody can be retired and making multi-bucks off a podcast like we do. So
That's right.
And I'll tell you this too. Slow told me this when I first got promoted, and he was dead on. He said, the further up you go, you thought it was bad on patrol, though. When you become a sergeant, it's worse.
oh yeah,
The further up you go, the more political, the more backstabbing. It's just people. Everybody wanting to get a bigger piece of pie, I guess. But
oh yeah, but they want a piece of
my
your
big
pie.
thing with that is, y'all, is when did you stop coming there to do the job? Because you want to do the job.
Yeah.
And would you want to be a police? But now you're more concerned with your rank and your own political affiliation or whatever, instead of coming here and helping the people.
Well, I tell you, the higher up the rank you go from enjoying your job to defending your job.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like Rodinator said, mostly inside the department, man. That's where all the danger was.
I told a former assistant chief this right before I retired, and and it makes sense to me. No matter where you are in the food chain, as far as the police department goes, whether it's a patrolman, sergeant, lieutenant now that they have at the Gastonia Police Department, and captain, assistant chief or chief, there's always somebody standing on your heels waiting to push you over to take your spot.
Take that job.
There's always.
They've never done that one.
Yep, there's always somebody there to do
But you
that.
know what? Those people to do that, it's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, it will eventually.
Now we don't want our listeners and our viewers to think we're just bitter old hags. I mean, we got reason behind things we think about, but I enjoyed my career. You guys, I'm sure you guys did too.
I love it. I wouldn't regret it for nothing.
Yeah, people ask me, would you do it again? Yeah, if I go back to 1986, I'd do it again, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't start now and do it.
Yeah. If we get to that slow, I'd be standing right beside you, like I did in 1986.
Oh yeah, yeah, we went to rookie school together.
I'd have been in high school.
Well, at least it wasn't like Bruce Moore, a good listener, buddy, police friend up there in where's that? Is he in
Clay County Sheriff's Office?
Clay County Sheriff's Office. Bruce asked me one day when he worked for Gastonia, he said, "When did you start to work here?" I said, 1986. He goes, "I was 3." I said, "You little fucker."
At least he was born.
Or you get those ones that come in now, like right far left. I get ones come in, look at their birthday. I was already police when you weren't even born yet.
Yeah. But you know what? Like Slow said, I wouldn't go back and change it for nothing, man. I enjoyed
it's just
my
great
whole 30
times, man.
years.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, and I'm sure I've told this story before too on there. Back when I'm a rookie, probably, but when you're experienced, I had one of the old guys say, "Hey, rookie, how long you got?" I'm like, 29 years. He goes, "I'd kill myself." Back then, I'm thinking, crap, I do this for free. This is the craziest thing ever. But now, fast forward to being in his shoes, I know exactly what he was talking about. Good God. Can you imagine by the time you retire, you got 29 more years to go?
Yeah.
But you know, Hound Dog, you know why you and I made it. You know why you and I made it to retirement?
I can tell you why Dobie made it.
Because of Slow.
Saved our job.
Tell that story. What you doing, Sarge? Saving your old job. That's what I'm doing. You are welcome.
I just wondered who was saving his.
Yeah, somebody was.
Yeah. Well, I told you about
Mr. Contempt of court from the judge.
I tell you, Sergeant Lovato in Internal Affairs. I'm sitting in my office one day, and I'm a sergeant now. I'm sitting in my office. He comes by. He's retired now, and he's actually shuffling cars. He pick up a patrol car, needs to be served or something at the police department.
Yeah.
Take it to the garage, get it worked on, and then bring cars back. He's shuttling cars back. That was his job, part-time job, after he retired. And he was sergeant over Internal Affairs. He stuck his head in my office one day. He says, "Hey, Covert." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "You're welcome." I said, "For what?" He says, "You got a job, don't you?" So, yes, thank you, sir.
Yep. That's it.
Why does this not surprise me? But you know, I'm thankful though. Hound Dog, I had a file. I had a file in Internal Affairs. We all did, right?
Yeah, we all did. Yeah.
Somebody had a cabinet. Somebody had a file cabinet.
A whole wall.
Well, and I'll tell you a guy that was never in Internal Affairs, and I won't mention his name because we
wasn't Slow Ride.
Well, I knew this guy almost my entire life. I knew him from actually Boy Scouts. That's how long I knew this guy. And he said, "I'll give you a word of advice. The first week I'm there," he says, "you sit in the middle of the boat, you take that oar, you put between your legs, you'll make any waves." He'd come in, he'd take his calls, he'd go home. Wouldn't stop cars, wouldn't volunteer for anything, never done anything other than just being on regular patrol, and never got in trouble. Yeah, two things are made in the gray area: lawsuits and case law.
Yep.
If you're out there doing your job, you're out there in the gray area.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
When I was in street crimes, in Gastonia, the gray shirt street crime drug unit, that's their job to push that envelope, envelope. Not go past it, but skirt that line and use
Get it
the
right along that
laws to their
line.
advantage. And they were good at it. They're good at it.
If looking back over my career, 30 years, one of the funnest times that I've had in the whole 30 years that I worked was when I was in narcotics.
Oh, I bet that was a blast.
And Slow Ride was there before I was, actually.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
And
Different world between when I was in there and you was in there.
True. But man, the stuff that we could do, the amount of drugs that we actually bought, it was amazing. Like what Slow Ride would, the drugs that we would buy on a weekly basis, and when Slow Ride was in there, it was a big haul.
I tell you, and you'll tell a story after me to show the difference. I'm in there, orchestrated by Dilaudid. Dilaudid in Gaston used to be a big thing. May still be, I don't know. It's a little baby, little aspirin, about the size of aspirin. Baby aspirin is what Dilaudid is. I think K2, K4s. K4s are $32 a piece on the streets.
Yep.
So we orchestrated. I was going to buy 100 of them from this bad guy, $3,400. I was given the buy money, and I was told, "You don't let that out of your sight. You don't lose that money. You don't let that money out of your sight." $3,400, and that was like a regular day purchase for you guys.
Oh, that's pocket money for us when we were doing it.
It's nothing.
We were used to buying kilos of cocaine, multiple kilos at a time of cocaine. That's what that's what we worked our way up to. We started out doing a crack rock here and there, but in the transition period between when Slow Ride was in there toward the later part of when I was in there and up until, I don't know if they're still doing this or not, in the narcotics up there. But during the transition period, we started out being a crack rock. Then we work our way up, buying quarter ounce, half ounce, or whatever. And by the end of the time was up, we was buying kilos.
And so now, and to set the stage for the listeners, then when you'd buy the rock and then you let that money walk just so you build a rapport and buy something bigger.
Yep. And get all the way up to a pretty good haul as far as cocaine was. When I was doing it was about an ounce was a good deal. Once we
so
get
you're
up somebody
undercover
with an ounce,
and you befriending the bad guys, and he's starting to trust you over this rapport of selling and buying dope.
Yes, yeah, and you got to play the role, so to speak, when you're doing this. But we're like I said, we started out buying a crack rock, then up to an ounce, then we asked about powder, then we say we want to get started in the business and blah blah blah, and then move on up, and a kilo. Just so people know, a kilo is 2.2 pounds. That's what a kilo weighs, 2.2 pounds.
And they call it a brick.
And they call it a brick. We were buying that. We wasn't letting that walk much, but I think we did a time or two to get the larger fish, so to speak.
Yeah,
but it was.
It's a good time. It's fun.
They do a lot of Fed stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go too deep.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. We started out doing Fed stuff. I was on task force, federal task force and stuff like that, and it was all fun, man.
I tell you what, I never got to work the vice side of it per se, but we helped with them a lot and do some surveillance and all that kind of stuff when they were needed extra hands for when I was in street crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of guys in street crimes, that their goal is to go from street crimes to vice. So it's kind of a stepping stone. It's kind of a natural progression. And they do some small buys and stuff like that, and they do some surveillance. And they get called into Fed ops, but they do a lot of the search warrants.
You get called into what?
They get called in to do a lot of federal operations and helping with the FBI, whoever. But they also do a lot of search warrants, and that is getting their own probable cause, which is enough probable cause to get a search warrant to enter the house with force if necessary and search the house. So that was a really, really fun job. That was one of the best jobs I had. But what made that job so much better was just the guys that were in it. And I think that goes for anything, really. The guys that are in it can make or break that.
Oh, yeah.
If you have the right bond, the right cohesion, and, you better have thick skin.
Oh,
them boys work hard and they play hard.
Oh,
yeah. True.
You cannot go in there and not get.
Don't let them see you get your feelings hurt.
No, because once they see that little chink in the armor, it is on.
It's like vultures.
It is on. Yep.
So, but that was fun. Those guys were good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my funnest time too. And I tell you, W, the second probably one of my favorite things too was being involved in the K9 program.
Well, as far as individual activity, as individual job function, I mean, dope's great, but there's nothing better in law enforcement for me to be behind the ass end of that dog and him start here, and then a half mile later in the woods, there's a bad guy. I mean, it's just you don't know when it's coming. It's an adrenaline thing. It's like watching your dog that you put all this work into and trusting him, and here you're on the ground now, go, and you're like, next thing you know, he's
and you know that old saying, don't you? They tell a police dog because it has two assholes.
Yeah.
One personal, one that follows him.
It's like Rod knows this guy. We've talked about this guy. These two guys used to work in Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department in Charlotte. They were the canine officers. And one was Brian Russell. He trained me. We've talked about Brian before. Phenomenal, one of the best canine handler trainers I've ever met in my life. There was another guy. His name was Rocky Lewis. Rocky's a good guy, but he was a little more edgier than Brian. Rocky was a good dude. Good canine handler. He said, you know what the trick to this is, Dobie? I said, what? He said, just follow the one-eyed monster.
Yeah, trust your dog.
Thanks, Rocky. He's like, another thing Rocky said, the first day I'm in school over in Charlotte, I got my first dog, Justice, and we're sitting there, and I'm all excited. My dog's name is Justice. He's da-da-da-da. I'm just like, the new guy. And I got all the, I'm excited, and this is cool, this is great. I'm my first dog. Rocky says, what's his name? I says, Justice. And that's not going to be his name. So what do you mean? Before it's done, he's going to be son of a bitch in every other word in the book, because I'm telling you, you're going to cuss him every day. He's right. He was right.
But Justice was a good dog, man.
Yeah, he was a good dog. He was a good dog.
So,
They both were solid. But I tell you what, I told people too. And I'll tell you this, people. I've told this before. The people around me, perimeters and starting points. You're only just if you don't get started right, you're not going anywhere. And if you don't have the right people helping you, you're not going to be successful. And I know we've talked about this prior too, but that shift the three of us were on. I'm telling you, we put some bad.
That was a great shift.
Well, give a shout out. Give a shout out. What shift was it?
Was that still considered Charlie? Technically, it was because we were on
it was Charlie.
Fours. Was it technically Charlie?
I think
it was the old Charlie team that went to the 12s, and it was, I guess, C rotation or D rotation with Calvert and us and Watts.
Yeah. What was that?
I think it was D rotation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was because I got the car tag, my
it was
D
what?
team, my David team.
Rotate.
David.
Yeah.
Because we went from Adam Baker, Charlie, David, Eagle, the old 510s, to the
Yes, 12. we actually lost a team.
Actually lost one shift because we had 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, they got consumed into the other teams. Yeah,
that was
good.
That
was fun. That was fun times. Yeah, and I found too. And I'm just a novice. As far as over the K9s, but just watching and listening, and learning from these guys, and the dogs. The biggest problem with the new handlers is not trusting the dog. The dog will be spot on, and the older handlers you see that, and and the new handler just pull the dog off because he's not trusting his dog. Mm-hmm. So usually the dog wouldn't want to make a mistake.
He knows it. He knows it way better than you will ever know it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
So,
hey, right quick, talking about my old Vice days. There's a picture of me back in the day.
What's that underneath your hat? What is that?
Sunglasses and hair.
Oh, hair, yeah.
I had long hair.
Some of us just shaved a lot shorter.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I tell you, it's funny too. Back then we had our own ID cards that the department made, and I think Hound Dog did the same thing. But I went them had to make me a fake ID. Yeah. From Graveling Trucking was my ID as a truck driver from Graveling Trucking.
Oh, you went? Our identification bureau did it for you?
Yeah.
I went and got went to DMV and got a real fake ID.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really?
Yep.
So now, what'd you have to do? What kind of strings you had to pull to do that?
I just went out there and talked to the supervisor. Said, hey, told him who it was, actually Roy McIntyre and myself went out there and said, hey, we'd like to get some. We do undercover stuff. We'd like to get some real fake IDs. And at the time, it wasn't, I guess, governed like it is nowadays. And the supervisor's like, oh, yeah, come on over. What name you want to use?
Yeah.
And I told her what name I wanted to use. Do you know what you...
Is this true? Did you really use Hunter?
Yeah, I did. Yep. But, no, my name is Reggie Franks.
Yeah, and that's smart. You always use your first name.
Yeah, you always use your first name. But my name is Reggie Franks, and my address is Post Office Box 129, Bryson City, North Carolina. That's because, and
you remember that?
Yeah, that's where my partner Roy, his name was Roy Franks. We posed as brothers, and his mother's address is Post Office Box 129, Bryson City, North Carolina. That's
right. He is from Bryson City, isn't he?
Yep. But that's what we did, man. They hooked us up, and I posted I actually have an inmate ID as well, Gaston County Jail inmate.
A fake one, right? Or
yeah, it's fake one. It's under Reggie Franks. I'm not gonna post my real one.
Yeah. Well, and just again for our audience, they're non-police listeners. Use your first name because if you're out and about with the bad guy and somebody sees you, go, "Hey, Steve."
Yeah.
You can say, "Hey, how you doing?" Instead,
Yeah, and they won't
going
look
by
at
some
you
other
like,
fake name. Yeah.
Who the hell is Steve? Yep. That's what you got to do, man. All right, I'm done giving away undercover secrets.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure.
speaking of that, but the trend now is they'll create a fake Facebook account.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, some of them boys in street crimes, they do it all the time.
I'm sure Internal Affairs has one.
Oh, I bet they do. So, speaking of in-house, so they have a fake Facebook account, and they'll put somebody's name, and they'll put all the thugs and everything, and they'll see. I've seen them watch them do it. They sit there and get to chatting with them, and one dude's flashing his money and his dope and his guns. Meet him in Lineburger Park for an ounce of cocaine, which an ounce takes it from possession to deliver to trafficking, which is a higher level felony.
All right.
So he shows up with an ounce of cocaine, and as soon as he shows up to one of the guys just in plain clothes, and he goes to give him the money, and boom, they're on him. Because he's just flashing on social media.
That's pretty cool, man.
Crazy?
But yeah, they do that a lot.
We didn't have such as that when I was on Steve.
Yeah.
when
I tell
was
you,
on.
dumb criminals make our job so easy.
Oh yeah, they do.
And if they could only use their talents for something else.
Oh yeah,
Some of
work
them
as
have
hard on a
talent,
real
they just-
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could change. They could change the world if they use their talents for good instead.
Well, you
of
know, like the
evil.
crack heads and the meth heads, they'll sit there and go into a new construction house, strip all the wire out of it, which is a hard job to do.
Oh,
Then they
yeah.
have to melt all the the sheathing
Yep.
off of it, the rubber stuff on it, just to get the wire. That's a lot of hard work.
It is. It is. For a crack rock or a
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, that's a lot of work, man.
So, did y'all see the thing? I know we talked about the Miami 3 officers or West Palm.
Oh, I did see that. Well, I don't think we've talked about it yet.
Well, let's talk about it. I'm totally lost. What's going on?
My understanding, the lady hit them and killed all 3 of them.
Well, did the third one die? I know the 2 of them
Yeah,
died.
Well, I got hit by
Did
a
they
car.
really? Oh man, yeah, they were motorcycle cops.
Oh, was
Down
this intentional or?
I don't know.
I don't think.
I don't.
was.
I didn't see enough of it to speak intelligently. As
Last I
Slow Ride
heard, they
says.
hadn't charged her. That's the last I heard. Now because I have a good friend back home. He worked for Gastonia for a while, but now he's at the sheriff's department. His name's Laz Craig. Were y'all there when Laz was there the first time?
Yeah, I worked on the same shifts as Laz.
Yeah, he worked West Palm before he came here. He's from there,
Oh, really?
and one of them was one of his good friends.
Oh man,
How do you
That
go
was
from
the
there
third- that
to
was the
City
third
of
guy.
Gastonia?
luck.
How do you go from Gastonia to Shootout Mountain?
Because there's no Gastonians up here.
Of course.
Oh my God,
That's why I won't give y'all my address.
that's why I had to send up smoke signals. Hey Steve, how you doing?
Yeah.
Well, at least you know the
Well,
hurricane.
well, you guys all know, retired Detective Jeff Wooten's been on the podcast
yeah.
several times, and I'm sure repeating myself again. But he asked one day, he says, "Why in the hell did you move halfway up a mountain and not knowing anybody?" I said, "Because I couldn't afford a place at the top of the mountain."
That's good, Steve. That's good.
But a good point though.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hurricane, how is it going now?
Man, it's still going. Yeah, it's just slow. I put it to a song too. I put my dash cam and my Jeep on and put it to a song, run through some of the still really rough looking areas. I was going to put it on our Facebook page, and it hit me, copyright violation of the song I had planned. I was going to put something out. Yeah, man, it's still bad. FEMA is starting to show his face a little more, just on the cleanup part of it.
I wonder why.
What about all the people that's got kicked out of the hotels because they can't
Yeah,
afford to pay?
they're living in tents. They're some of them actually have now like little really outbuildings converted to
Really?
a home for 2 people. Yeah, sitting on the lot their house used to sit on. The majority of people are in tents. I've got 6 inches on the ground. It snowed all week, and it actually laid last night 6 inches.
No.
And it is 12 degrees tonight, and there are people in tents.
Man.
But I got a feeling FEMA's going to change.
Oh yeah, a lot's going to change.
I hope it changes because what they're doing now to our people in Western North Carolina.
It's ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, you're exactly right. It's totally unbelievable. The amount of billions of dollars we send to foreign aid, we send to Ukraine, and the government just turns their back on the people up here.
I tell you, I was watching
Americans.
I was watching Fox News this morning, believe it or not, and
Is that a new
were.
thing for you?
It was new this morning.
Yeah, because it's the first thing in the morning.
That's the first thing in the morning, yeah. But there's a lady on there somewhere up in the mountains of North Carolina. She was in a hotel. You could tell by the surroundings. And they was asking her about FEMA. Has FEMA, done anything, helped you out or anything? She said, we got $750, but I hadn't seen FEMA since.
Yeah, no.
And she said my house was inspected on, I think she said October 26th, maybe. And they said, well, we'll hear back about our house inspection within 10 days. And it's December the 2nd.
Oh, yeah,
3rd,
it's
or whatever
terrible.
today is.
It's totally unbelievable. If it wasn't just for the private groups, the churches, the Christians, and not just Christians, but all walks of faith up here. And like I said, we talked about before, and you go out there and you see these people. No one's talking politics. No one's talking religion, and you could have a group of
We're just helping each other.
Yeah, all group across the whole realm of religion up here, and all working together side by side, getting things done. If it went for the private organizations, man, these people would already be starved. We're blessed up here on the mountain. Tons of property damage. That's it. We didn't lose any life, and sitting here now, I got my power back in 29 days, and they're podcasting from Starlink that
Elon Musk.
Elon hooked us up with. So yeah, everything's good on us, but man, you got some people that are still suffering bad.
Yeah, and I tell you what, during that whole storm, I was worried to damn death about you, brother. I really was.
Well, I tell you, for 3 days, we didn't know if the world existed outside here because we could not get in, get out with no phone, no power, no nothing.
Yeah, every time I take a drink of bourbon, I think, I wonder what Steve's doing, and I hope Steve's okay tonight. I ain't heard
I was
from
just
him.
thinking, boy, if he's gone, wonder if I get them bottles of bourbon.
There's one that I would like to have that you got. It's a white label Weller.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Knobs Creek for everybody.
Yeah, I think when I die, I'm just going to have an open bar.
That's what I'm doing. I told my wife
When I die,
whenever
you're going to have an open bar.
Yeah, absolutely. With your liquor.
Yeah.
Hey, you gonna pour it on his grave to my homies?
Yep. Now, I told my wife, so when I die, I want all my friends to come over and every bottle that I have, open it up and drink it all. Have them to drink every damn bit of it.
Well, I can see her letting everybody do that, but God bless him, Buck. She wouldn't let Buck back in the house.
No, she wasn't. Buck's was forever banned from my house.
That sounds like a story for another time.
That's a good story, actually.
Yeah,
Funny
it was
story.
actually we were actually podcasting that night at your house. Not podcasting.
No, we were
learning.
We were practicing.
Practicing. Yeah. We actually 6 months a year. We sat there and
y'all were all. What you're saying is y'all drinking.
yeah, was trying.
We were.
We don't need a reason to drink.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we
were.
practiced. We put all our stuff together for about a year or so, man, just to get to the level we're at now.
Yeah. And here we are. Ta-da!
Yeah. And all I can say to our viewers is, you're welcome. Yeah, we're kind of like Walmart at 12 o'clock. You got to feel better about yourself after you listen to us.
Oh,
Man, I ain't got it so bad after all.
Walmart at 12 o'clock. Did y'all ever work the third shift of when you go? They work off duty, get extra money for part time. Work third shift at Walmart on the East End when it was.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did.
God. The things
was-
that come through there, Gastonia.
It's not just Gastonia, brother. It's every damn Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well, there was one lady used to come in there like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning every so often. Every average age lady. I was like, what do you come in here at this time of night for?
It's the best time to shop.
I get off work, I get my groceries, go home when nobody's here.
Yep.
No, you're exactly right. No, you can go in and get out, man.
That's the best time to shop, man. For sure.
Man, no one's raised their voice. No one's got heated conversation. No one's had a stroke tonight. We miss you, Rodinator. He'll be back next week. All right, guys, we're at that time.
Oh,
My, how time flies when we're having fun.
It does.
Any last words?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, W. I got to pull something up right quick.
Shout out. I think it was at Miami, with the 3 officers that got killed. Miami or West Palm. Shout out to the department. That's a hard hit. 3 at one time. One's bad enough.
yeah,
but
man.
3 at one time.
Oh, you're right, man.
Yep.
Rest
With
in
your
peace,
brothers.
All right, so hold on, man. Hold my glass. Here's to them.
Yeah. To the officers.
I have three brothers that got passed away. But as always, I gotta give our buddy Jerry Millwood a shout out, aka the Kaiser Rebel. Jerry does the TikTok series called "The Strange and Unexplained Phenomena of the South Mountains of North Carolina." If you haven't watched this week's episode, I think it is entitled "Are They Stalking Us?" You need to watch it.
Jerry is a cryptogeologist.
Zoologist, yep.
That's what I said.
He is. No, you didn't.
I did. I didn't say zoologist. I said cryptozoologist.
But
It's a story there, Dobie.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. We'll tell you after the podcast or whatever. But anyway, Jerry is actually going live on his next episode of that on Sunday, December the 8th. Go on to TikTok and check out Jerry's live episode of The Strange and Unexplained Phenomena of the South Mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm looking at the date. Yeah, this will be up before then. So yeah, whoever our three listeners and watchers can dial them in and check them out as well.
Oh, I'll be there for sure.
All right, if you like what you heard or like what you've seen, please hit that like button, subscribe button. We need the love. And looking at the statistics stuff, over half of our listeners are not subscribed. If you will, please subscribe. Like I say, hit that like button, man. We need the love. We need to get their name out there some more. The more you subscribe we get, the higher up we get there, the more people get to see us.
Exactly.
Is that cool?
Yep. Hey, Rodinator, we miss you, brother.
Yeah, man. We'll be back this coming week. Be sure to drink responsibly and support your PTSD officers, man. Take care of those guys.
And always, let's drink about it.
Well, you guys are awful quiet tonight. It's been a Studio 77 production.
What do you mean we're awful quiet?
You mean it's over? Well, shit.